I thought you were going to make a joke about how I threw up. So
I was just trying. I figured that's like your odyssey. It's up to you whether you want to tell the listeners that you threw up before we recorded this.
Yeah, it was a lot of barf. I got to tell you. And I got to tell you, I ate probably an hour before this.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not a good time range for that.
There's a BLT.
Oh, God. So, okay, we don't have to go all the way into it.
But I was going to say, currently, my mouth tastes like BLT. So,
Christ. Well, that's good, Brian. I'm glad that you let everybody know that. Maybe we, I guess we'll leave that in. I think that's a good way of, because I was thinking, I'm like, oh man, if this is someone's first time ever listening to the show, they might be out already 2 minutes in. But then again, I think that's like a good, maybe like precursor to, what this show's kind of all about. We're both very stupid.
It's a new metal podcast. If you can't stand barf, but you like new metal, it's like, what's your deal?
That's me. You're describing me. I
hate some kind of a clean living freak
that
doesn't ever throw up all over the place.
Yeah.
Listen, you're lucky I threw up. Several other things could have happened there. I could have shit my pants.
Well, that would be fine. We're recording remote. You can shit your pants all you want. I wouldn't be able to smell it or see it or hear it or anything. So,
okay, what if I cummed? Just like out of fucking nowhere. Just like I'm just sitting here and all of a sudden
you can mentally come.
Yeah, like a woman. No, I was gonna say like a woman.
Like a woman.
That's old school Bryan right there. Sorry, that came out of left field. I don't know how that happened. You get me talking about new metal, and then all of a sudden I turn into 1997 Bryan.
That makes sense. That sounds about right. I mean, the album we're reviewing today came out in 95, so this is like, an accurate portrayal. I think I will say that my fiance for my birthday got me it was really nice. Instead of like, for COVID, a lot of people have been doing sort of like video messages for birthdays and stuff like that. She was like, I want to do something different than that. So she got everyone, a bunch of my friends to send in like high school pictures of themselves and a caption like it was a yearbook. And you sent in a picture of you when you were in high school. And I just like, you are new metal. Just like I see pictures of you from that time period. You weigh about 130 pounds. You have dyed blonde hair. Your clothes are so baggy. It makes me smile every single time. Sometimes you'll post pictures of yourself from that time period on Twitter and stuff, and it gets me every single time. I love it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I got to tell you though, I didn't break 110 until I was in my mid 20s.
No.
Yeah.
110?
I was like 113.
No
probably.
Way.
Or maybe.
Come on. Aren't you like, how tall are you? You're like 5'10"?
Well, I always say 5'11", but that makes it sound like a guy that wants to say 6 foot, but isn't 6 foot, It's a weird thing that
I mean, being 5'11" and weighing 110 is unbelievable. That's crazy to me.
I was very thin for a very long time. And then, you eat a lot and then you're not thin anymore.
Yeah, I guess.
That's the problem that just happens with people. I mean, when you grow up and you weigh 100 pounds all the way through high school, and it doesn't matter what you eat, and you could eat anything you want and nothing will happen. Then you don't develop good eating habits at that period. So then when it comes time, it's like, well, I mean, really, the only foods I like are cheeseburgers. So I don't know. Is there a cheeseburger diet?
Yeah, I have the same issue. Where I was very skinny, not as skinny as you, but I was skinny for sure. Definitely. Yeah, I have that issue. For me, it's more sweets. I developed a real sweet tooth when I was younger. I used to drink a lot of pop. I ate a lot of candy. none of that was a problem for me. And now it's like I still, oh yeah, there you go. As Bryan shows me a bag of Juicefuls.
They're so good. They're the best candy in the world. They're Welch's Juicefuls Island Splash. Make sure to get the Island Splash.
Okay. We don't have those in Canada, so I've never had them before, but I do like the Welch's like fruit snacks. They're really good. So if those are like a premium version of those, I'm all in.
Yeah. They're very good. I like island treats, I guess, is the thing. I've never been to an island, but I love them.
That's maybe why you're like, you just imagine yourself being on an island now. Now I have that very stupid Island Boys song in my head. God, I hate those guys.
On the island of Jamaica? Like,
the
like
two,
311?
Yes, exactly. Like 311. Yeah, very similar, actually. Before we get to 311, though, Bryan, pretty big news in nu metal this week. We don't often get to cover topical things on this podcast. Most of the stuff we review is from 20 plus years ago. But our friends in Limp Bizkit put out an album on Halloween, my birthday. The album is called Still Sucks. And what are your thoughts?
I love it, and I listened to it every day this week when I woke up, twice through. So it was almost a bummer that I had to listen to 311 because I just wanted to keep listening to Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, it is really good. I think people are definitely concerned with how we feel about it. I mean, I think that I wasn't nervous because we reviewed Gold Cobra, which was their last full-length album before this one, which came out 10 years ago almost now. But I was surprised at, when we listened to Gold Cobra, I was surprised at how good that was. Like, I feel like I had this idea in my head that Gold Cobra was going to be really bad when we reviewed it, and then it was like quite good, actually. So I wasn't really, and then like the singles that they had put out that were rumored to be on Stampede of the Disco Elephants or whatever were all pretty good too. So I wasn't really worried from a quality perspective, but I do think there's just something in your brain that snaps a little bit in the year 2021 when it's like, oh, Limp Bizkit has an album coming out. I think there is a bit of a reflex where you're like, oh, well, there's no way that's going to be good.
Yeah, I think like I knew it was going to be, I think I knew I was probably going to like it only because like you said, Golden Cobra is like a really fun album, but it's better than Gold Cobra. I actually, man, I put this right there with Significant Other. Like I'd go $3 bill Significant Other this, then hot dog flavored water. Chocolate starfish. I know, but
that's a bold take. But maybe I agree with you. I'd have to listen to it a few more times. I'm probably about 4 times through it at this point. I think one thing that came to mind when I was thinking about this album is like, again, we've now reviewed Significant Other and Gold Cobra and Chocolate Starfish on this podcast. We've done 3 Limp Bizkit albums. And they're not really like an album band, like a lot of their albums are kind of like the singles are really good. And then there's like 3 or 4 other songs that are really good. And then there's some like pretty clear filler. Like even on Significant Other feels bloated. Chocolate Starfish feels very bloated, especially because every song on Chocolate Starfish is like 5.5 minutes for some reason. So yeah, to me, like $3 Bill Y'all's their most consistent album where you can listen to it like from front to back and feel that every song is pretty good. And then this one is kind of in that conversation too. Like I think as a cohesive album, it's pretty strong. There's not a lot on here that I feel the urge to skip or that I feel is like really weak, I would say.
I think what makes it one of their stronger albums is that it's, I think, 38 minutes long, too. I mean,
yes,
that's a good album length. The songs don't linger, Like the songs are like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And you know what? Limp Bizkit, from the beginning, would probably have never had people, kind of shit on them if they had done 3-minute songs. This is like prime Limp Bizkit length song, I think.
Yeah.
They did a really good job here with that.
Yeah, it's the album's 32 minutes, and yeah, I agree. And I think it's like, because most Limp Bizkit songs are one idea, right? Like it's not like you're listening to a Limp Bizkit song, you're like, wow, this is really complex. It's taking me in a lot of places. I think that's maybe why I like Rearranged so much, because it's like one of the few Limp Bizkit songs that has like a clear coda and like a, you know, a clear like multi-part structure. Whereas a lot of their other songs, it's like, oh, this is just one big riff, and then we just sort of like beat it into the ground as much as we can over 4 to 5.5 minutes. So yeah, I agree with you. I think it's like, okay, this is a really good riff. Like, let's make it happen, you know?
Yeah, this new I like this new style. I mean, you would like a few more breakdowns.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
That was that would be a criticism I have, but I know that when I first put this on and I heard Turn It Up, Bitch, I said, this is one of the great albums. I mean, it's going to be, that song right there, like, sold me on the whole album.
Yeah, I think for me, it was Out of Style, the very first track. I think the Wes riff on that song is so, you know, for lack of a better word, classic Limp Bizkit. I think it's got, I just love the sort of squirmy, like squiggly riff to start. And then just the little, like because my style is so fresh. It's like, you know, that's just such a Fred Dursty kind of lyric, you know, and he keeps like returning to it. And I think for me, that's easily the strongest song on the album. And it's the first song. So I remember when I downloaded it, Becca and I were actually on our way home from the Canucks game. We had gone out for my birthday. So it was on Saturday night. Of course, I'm in the Pacific time zone. So it was like, went out for dinner, went to the Canucks game, get back to the car. It's like 9:30 p.m. And so, of course, Pacific time, the album's already out. So I put it on in the car. And Becca just like, the first song is on, and Becca just looked over at me and she's like, "You love this." And I was like, "Oh yeah." I love this for sure.
Yeah. And I love the King of New Metal from the Trash lyric and Turn It Up, Bitch. That's just like, now that's a dude that's fucking owning it now. Like, there's no shame in what he's doing. And he's like, I am the King of New Metal. You know, everybody else is running from it. We're a fucking new metal band, which to me, I love. I fucking love that they're the first band that's been like, hey, no, we're a new metal band. Actually, we play new metal is our genre, which is really cool. Also, Prank Call on the album, which is certainly something, man.
I'm already skipping it. I'm already over it. It wasn't funny the first time, and it's still not funny to me. But I think I do like that they're leaning into it. But I do think the worst song on the album is "Love the Hate," because it's just like, first of all, it's not that good, and second of all, it's just like too much. It's too much of like, oh, I'm a piece of shit. You all hate me. Ha 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 ha. Like, you know, it's like when it's subtle little things in other songs, like one or two throw off lines, I think it hits much better than an entire song, pardon me, where you're like, oh, does it actually bother you a little bit? Like, it kind of seems like it does actually kind of bug you, though, still just a bit.
I like that he said, I like when he says you're a Fred ache. So I can't really complain about Love the Hate very much.
I hate that lyric, actually.
Fred ache. He's a Fred ache.
He's a Fred ache.
You know?
It's just, well, the thing that makes, I shouldn't say I hate that line, because you and I both know we've read enough Limp Bizkit interviews. We've consumed enough Limp Bizkit content in our lives. You and I both know that when Fred wrote that line, he was like so happy with himself. He was just like, Fred ache, yo. Like, I guarantee you he was very smug about that line.
He probably wrote that line in 1998 is my guess. He's just like, I don't know, man. I can't use it. It's so uncool. And then now he's like, well, I'm known for being uncool, so fuck it. Yeah, that's me, Fred ache. I'm the Fred ache guy.
Yeah, that's fair. No, I like it. I think, sorry, go ahead.
Great breakdown in Pill Popper, too.
Oh, I love Pill Popper.
Yeah, that's where the breakdown really hits in that song, and it gives you those old school Limp Bizkit vibes.
Just a little noodly boom, like that's how like all the Limp Bizkit breakdowns sound, and it's really good and cool. Yeah, no,
it's
for
good.
Sure. Yeah,
they made a Limp Bizkit album. Yeah, they made a Limp Bizkit album, and I fucking love it. I think it's so fun to listen to.
I think so too. And I think the timing is right. I mean, I think we've been talking about it on this pod for a while, that, nu metal's kind of coming back around. I think there's people that are, embracing it a little bit more. And like we said, I think we all, or a lot of us, went through a time period in the aughts. How long that time period was, who knows? But I think a lot of us went through a time period where we wouldn't admit to liking nu metal. We wouldn't really listen to nu metal. And it just feels like it's come back around. I don't know if it's because the life cycle is such that people sort of forget about it, or younger kids are discovering it now and they like it, or there's just the sort of prevailing notion right now of let people enjoy things, or whatever. I think maybe that's also part of it, but I just think it felt like the right time. I feel like even like 2 or 3 years ago, this album wouldn't have been as well received as it was, even by people I know who hate Limp Bizkit, who are just like, even if they are never going to listen to it, they're still kind of like, oh, you know what? This sort of feels right. This is like kind of a cool, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's I have to say that it's probably, god damn. Yeah, it's as good as the early stuff, maybe even better because of the length of the songs. I think like the length is so key, man, because so fucking many of these songs have been like, so many of the problems with with the other Limp Bizkit stuff is the 7 minute or 5.5 minute songs, not 6 minutes, but the 5.5 minute songs where you're like, all right, I fucking got enough. Like the shortness of these songs, just you like are getting used to the idea, and then boom, you're fucking on to the next thing. And I also like that at the end of Love the Hate, he says, we don't give a fuck. Like, you missed one clue. We don't give a fuck. And it seems like you always do. That's kind of nice to me. That's like when people say, what, are you mad? You getting mad now? So,
ooh, angry like boy. Angry boy's a little angry. Ooh, yeah. No, I get that for sure. Yeah, I think that's that. I agree. I agree with everything you said. I like it a lot. I think, there's not, like I said, there's not really a song that feels skippable to me. I guess the last thing I would want to bring up is the last song on the record. Kind of feels a little bit like Limp Bizkit's trying to do Sugar Ray. How do we feel about Goodbye, the final song on the album?
Good. I like it. I mean, that is the song where it feels like they were, I don't know. I think you could see this being pushed as sort of a single because it's the most like contemporary sounding song that there is.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I mean. Like, it was funny. Like, when it came on, I was like, ooh, I don't think I've heard Limp Bizkit do a song like this before. And I like it too. I think it's good. I think it's a good wheelhouse for them. I think they know what they're doing. And yeah, I'm all in for like, if Limp Bizkit's going to come back and put out an album every couple of years, I feel like I'm into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Do it every year, though. Not every couple years. Let's have one every year.
That's what the people are clamoring for. Limp Bizkit album every year. Make it happen. Let's go. Yeah, no,
it's quarterly would work too.
Fred Durst just becomes an unstoppable like song machine. Who's the band that puts out albums all the time? King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard? Is that the band that puts out like 4 albums a year?
I think they put out a lot of shit. Yeah. I don't know any King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
Is that what they're called? I feel like I fucked it up and people are going to be mad. Right. Okay. All right. Dan
I think I've listened to some. They are at King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. that's the kind of music I like now. So I should give them a shot. But
I feel like it's them and like Ty Segall is like a guy
Ty
I think
Segall,
of.
yeah.
I think of as a guy who puts out like a shit ton of albums.
Fucking love that dude, but you will fall off on Ty Segall because it's just like, all right, well, another one. All right, I can't keep up with you, sir. So Limp Bizkit, make one every 2 years. There you go.
So you've come back around. You agree with me? Okay, good. Well, great. There you go. There's our sort of mini review of "Still Sucks" by Limp Bizkit.